Good afternoon, Tom Nowetner, the conversationalist. How's everybody today? Like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell. Make sure you know when I go live. As usual, let's support St. Jude. Good people, good work. And Aortic Hope. Good people, good work. Going the extra mile for those people who have aortic disease. Support them, like them, get involved. It's a good organization as well as St. Jude. All right, today, this is Wednesday, so we get to talk about practically anything we want. So I gleaned everything that I could today, and I came up with this topic. So you know about my latest place I'm putting my energies is do better, change. 0101 2005. Isn't that a great number? I love that number. Anyway, it's you who has to change, not the guy next to you, not the girl behind you, not the people in the supermarket line. It's you. And if everybody takes that responsibility onto themselves, by example, you'll change people around you. You'll change your children. You'll change all those people that have been stuck in what we've been sold for the last 20 years. The division that we've been sold. We have been sold a bill of goods. Why? Because it keeps you manipulated and fighting against one another over ridiculous things. So let's get on to it. Let's talk about personal responsibility. If you don't like being called the N word, don't use the N word. I don't like being called a guinea or a WOP, WOP, without papers. So I don't use it. Okay? If you don't like being called a spick, don't you call another person that. Right? If anything in your life irritates you, that's the opportunity you have to change. Change it all. But be that example of change. Don't keep it to yourself. Broadcast it. I'm not going to do this, A. I'm not going to do this, B, anymore. I'm going to be a better person for that. And how do we start? Obviously. Like Michael Jackson says, the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror. If you can't afford 4 children, don't bring 4 children into the world. It's as simple as that. You cannot, in this day and age, repopulate the world just because you want a lot of children or get you more money through the welfare system. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the children, and it's certainly not healthy for the American society at large. If you're not happy with your position in the world, your educational level, your skill level, change it. Right now, you have a golden opportunity to do whatever you want. The sky is the limit. You can become whatever you want. You want to become a nurse? 100% gets paid. Isn't that amazing? And there's even stipends. You don't have to take out loans. There's stipends. So you can live on it while you go to school or nursing. They're so short of nurses. What if you want to be an electrician? Right now, here in our little area, they are paying people to come in and become electricians and plumbers, HVAC. Isn't that amazing? We're so sure of these type of tradespeople that even Newsweek said they're the next class of millionaires. Isn't that amazing? Whoever thought an electrician or a plumber was going to be the next set of millionaires? But that's where it's going, and you can be part of that. It's You're going to be in on the ground floor. You ever say to yourself, "Boy, I wish I bought that stock," or "I wish I'd done that because now it's blowing up. Well, I'm telling you right now, you want to change your life. You want to be a better person. You want to be a better husband, your wife, father, mother, whatever it is. Invest in yourself. Change. 01012025. That's the goal. That is the goal. You're going to be number one. You're going to place yourself number one, and you're going to do it in 2025. It's a very, very simple concept. I can't give it better than that. So pick your path in life. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, or 50 years old. It's never, ever too late to change. It is never too late to wake up and say to yourself, what I've been doing isn't working. I'm going to change myself. And therefore, if I change myself, the people around me will see the change, and then maybe they'll enjoy it to the point where they'll do it, right? It's like anything else. You know, fads come and go, but how do fads start? Well, one person does it, and then 1,000, then a million. You know, that's a fad. Well, why can't we make being better people a fad? We have an opportunity right now. Now, I know a lot of people didn't vote for Donald Trump, but a lot of people did. So it is your opportunity to say, all right, Donald Trump is in office. He's going to be our president. How can I make this work for me? Well, it's a simple concept. If the majority of the people voted for Donald Trump and you didn't, don't stand off on the side for 4 years and mumble and be miserable. Get into the pack. Understand where the pack's going and where the benefits are. Don't get into the pack and get into the stupid shit. Oh, that reminds me, $26. So Josh, you're falling down on the job. You got to stop the chitlins, and two of my daughter-in-laws hit me up for $26 from the last video. So please, everybody out there in the internet world, Josh is falling down on the job. He may be the Wizard of Oz of internet, but he's sure as hell not going to protect me from myself. So somebody help me. Okay. So this time, I don't know where the money's going. That's not up to me. $26. So let's get back on top. Change. Understand how to change, where you want to change to. If you need help, go get some counseling. It's free. Right now, if you need counseling, all you got to do is call the 811 number and say, I want job counseling. They'll set you up right in your own little town or big town or city or whatever it is with somebody that can counsel you and help you make that transition. Isn't that wonderful? It doesn't cost you a dime. That's very, 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 very important that you understand that there's help out there to change. Now, if you're a white guy, and I saw on the news today the neo-Nazi things that are going on around the country, and the hate Israel, hate Palestine, hate everybody, hate each other, hate themselves, people. I'm going to speak directly to you. You are out of step. I don't care what the legacy media, the broadcast media, the people that only have their own agenda to publish are saying. You are causing us to stagnate, to be confrontational with one another. And the legacy media loves to find you people and broadcast how disgusting your behavior is. If you don't like Palestine, keep it to yourself. If you don't like Israel, keep it to yourself. You want to send money to Palestine? Do it. You want to send money to Israel? Do it. But that's not something you do out in public anymore. We're changing. We're not that person or people or groups of people. That's got to change in America. If America's going to get better, we have to understand our past. We can't replicate. We can't go back to that time when everybody, and I'm talking from the mid 80s all the way up to present day, we cannot have people banging on us and telling us things that excite us and then we react to it. That doesn't work anymore. You need to be the change when it comes to legacy media. You have to put everything through a filter that filters out 90% of it. When the weather comes on, what are we talking? 75% wrong? How do you get a job where you're wrong 75% of the time? I want one of those. But I'm talking about the talking heads, right? Where like on Fox News or ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all those, people. They have agendas. You understand that? They are there solely to push their agenda, to keep you at odds with other people. You notice I'm not saying black people, white people, Spanish people, Chinese. No, because I've changed. I'm talking about the American people. They want Americans to be at each other's throats. That way, we don't have to deal with the real problems. And what are the real problems? Well, you know, I've told you before, Trump kind of scares me. I don't know just how far he's going to go. But here in the beginning, once again, just like the last time he was president, he has really good ideas. Okay. Last time he put too many political hacks. He relied on the people that he was told knew how to run and maneuver in the government. And they all stabbed him in the back. So this time, he's bringing a lot of people from outside Washington. The new Homeland Security lady is a governor. The guy who's going to do immigration is a cop from New York City. You got Shawami, who's, for life of me, I don't know where this guy came from, and he can double talk more than anybody else, but put him in charge of cutting back the government with Elon Musk. Their job, and they got to do it by 26 on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, to cut the waste out of government. That's not a long time. And we're talking a year and a couple of months. These guys got to be banging at it. I mean, talk about a job that's got a lot of movement and fluctuation. I mean, if they gave me the job, God, somebody probably assassinate me. I get the job on Monday, I'd be assassinated by Wednesday. You know why? Because the first thing I'd walk in is cut the FBI back by 80%. I send out letters to everybody in the IRS. You got 7 days to clean out your office. You're gone. You know what I replace it with? A computer program. Right? We know how much you make. We know what the tax rate is. This is what you pay. Come one skilled year and you didn't pay it, we take your money. It's as simple as that. We go to a flat tax. Not all 700 volumes of tax code. Oh my God. 700 volumes of tax code. There are attorneys that admittedly know the tax code about 10%. And they're tax attorneys. So let's just go to a flat tax, 15%. Everybody play it. I don't care if you make $2, you make $2 trillion, 15%. Bang, you're done. Goodbye. Love you. I don't think that's outrageous. Not in America, where some people are paying 33 and 39%. Other people are paying nothing. Everybody complains about the top 1% and 2%, and they don't pay any taxes because they have the money and power to get good attorneys and accountants. The system has become expanded to the point where it's unmanageable. Donald Trump said it himself. He says, I just take the laws and use them to my advantage. I haven't broken the law, I just use the laws as they're stated, so I don't have to pay taxes. Well, I see it's 15 minutes into our presentation, so I'm going to say like, subscribe, share, comment, make sure the bell's on, because it makes Josh happy. And I'm an egomaniac, so I need some help too. Take care of our people at Aortic Hope. Good people doing good things. Survivors helping survivors. We're not a medical organization. Nobody gets paid. Isn't that amazing? Nobody gets paid in this organization. It's all survivors helping survivors at Aortic Hope. Isn't that amazing? God bless them. I'm sure Josh is putting up their little front page there. St. Jude. How can you say anything bad about people who help children with cancer and other diseases? Come on. You got to be Scrooge times 10 to be able to say anything bad about St. Jude. Oh my God. 97% of the money comes in is put right into the system. The people who do get paid through grants and annuities and endowments. Isn't that amazing? Went from one little tiny hospital outside of Memphis to 17, 19 building complex. And most of the buildings are research. Danny Thomas, Marlo Thomas, now their children are running it. And I have no clue who they are because I'm old. But I know that it's expanding and they're not only doing childhood cancer, which when they first started, 80% of the children were dying. Now 20% succumb to this illness. Do you understand how great a job they've been doing to save that many children? We're not talking about saving a few here and there. These people with their research and their abilities and their tenacity are saving children's lives. So, treat them good. Send them some money. Like them. Maybe you do a fundraiser. How's that? Put out a lemonade stand or a hot coffee stand or a hot cider stand because it's cold here. Only last night got down to 24. Woo! Yeah, 24 degrees last night. The old wood stove was just chugging. It sounded like a freight train. I was stuffing wood in that sucker. Anyway, that's another story. So let's get back to what we're talking about. We're talking about change. And change is hard, and I admit it. But if you plan it, you have just, like a month and a half now for 01012025. And thank you, Lou from Connecticut, who gave me that way to say it because he liked it. So he suggested 01012025, the day to change. Isn't that amazing? I give so much credit to people who are on these social medias. Their creativity is amazing. I look at some of these videos and some of these presenters, they are so creative. Then, of course, you got the ones that are, it's like watching a cement block. But I guess you got to have the good with the bad, right? That's always been our way. Even the caveman had the good with the bad. He wanted brontosaurus steaks, but he had to go get them. The steaks were good, but getting them was pretty tough. Okay, Fred Flintstone? obviously what I'm saying to you is it's on you. You can stay and fight among one another. You can argue live separately from one another, not take advantage of the things that are available to you, and just be a complainer like you've been for the last 30, 40 years. Go ahead. Stay the way you are today. You can be on 0102 2025. And it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. It's not going to change my life at all. But I'm giving you a roadmap on how to change your life. Even if you didn't vote for Trump, you can take advantage of the things he's doing. The things that are in place right now, because a year from now, he's going to clean house. He's got Shwami and Elon going to be shutting the doors on a lot of things. But for a year, these programs are still running. Use them. If you took a loan out to go through school and you didn't use it for school, but you use it for partying and living off campus, that's on you. Don't look for people to say you don't have to pay it back. You knew what you were doing. You took the loan out. Stand up, get a second job, bang it out, pay it off. You'll have good credit. Then you can get your house. Yes, I understand Gen Z, Gen Alpha. You guys are going to have the hardest time, but it's temporary. What I see happening is in the next 5 to 8 years, you guys are going to be entrepreneurs. The majority, where we were employees in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where we went to work for other people, you're going to be working for yourself. Everything is going to be individualized. So Gen Z, yeah, you're going through a hard time right now. You can't make bills, you can't afford this, that, and the other thing. It's temporary. If President Trump does half the things he's doing, he's going to take the tax burden off. You need to plan and then execute. The internet is going to only expand. The Web3 is just going to expand. And you have to be in position to deal with it. I don't care if you knit socks. I don't care if you're a problem solver and fix people's computers remotely, or you're a guide in the Adirondack Mountains or the mountains of California, or you organize trips to Alaska. This is a place you're going to make that dream come true. Whatever it is you want to do, it's within the walls of the internet. And that's the future. You understand? I wish I had this luxury. And I call it a luxury because I had to bang out a living, even though I own restaurants and bars, even though I technically self-employed, I wasn't. I worked for the government, paying taxes. I worked for my customers because I had to give them the best quality I could get so that I had the money to pay my employees. You understand? I thought I was an owner. I wasn't. I was just the lead horse. Better than being in the second horse because you see the first horse, but that's another story. We'll talk about that one day. You understand? You have a golden ticket. You're like Willy Wonka. You're the kids on the other side of the gate watching this man walk down to unlock the gate. It's the internet. Now you're saying to me, well, I really don't want to. Well, then, if you don't want to be involved in the internet, then get involved in something that's we're going to need. Now, here in New York State, they have crushed all the small dairy farms. They have crushed all the small farmers and cattle raisers and ranchers and things like that. And they have all these big corporate farms owned by Chinese and money I wanted to say laundry, but it's investment firms. The problem is they're finding out that corporate farms don't work. You can't put a bean counter in charge of a dairy farm. Everybody knows Chobani yogurt, right? Well, his first plant was here in upstate New York. You know why? Because he had access to a lot of dairy farms. He could get as much milk as he wanted, and it was fresh on a daily basis. In cows that weren't living in smog infested or contaminated ground. This is virgin ground. I mean, the most that's happened on this ground is we've grown other crops, but it's still an area that is clean relatively. Yeah. Can't get my mouth to work right today. Haven't had enough Crown out. It's not relaxed. All right, but that's another story. So, if you want to become a farmer, or you want to live off the grid, or you want to be, a guide up in salmon country, taking people out, you can do that. But the internet is going to help you. Where you could reach probably a couple of thousand people with your marketing plan by, putting up posters or whatever, a big poster in the local diner. If you put your business or your skill level on the internet, you reach a whole lot of people. So even if you don't want to be directly involved with the internet, you can use it for whatever you want to do. Say you want to make stained glass windows. Well, if you open up a store and throw it in your stained glass window, what are you going to see? 100 people a week? If you're in New York City, what are you going to see? 1,000 people a week? 2,000? You put it up on the internet. Now your stained glass is going before millions. So you see how this works? The whole economy is changing. And I can prove the point. Look at Bitcoin, up 90% in 7 days. 90%. And it's still growing. And that isn't because somebody's standing on the corner with a handful of Bitcoin saying, buy these Bitcoins. It's going because of the internet. And this is the internet too. Wait till, Web3 comes through, where it's diversified and more people have access to more things on it and can manipulate it at a greater speed. Elon Musk is just the first one to put the satellites up. But I already understand that the European Space Agency has a plan to put their own satellites up. And Russia keeps telling us that they already have this, and it's up there, and it's cloak and dagger stuff. Whether it is or not, I don't know. And China's too busy keeping people from running over other people with their cars because they weren't happy with their divorce settlement. Did you hear about that? This guy got a divorce settlement, and he was pissed off, and he took his car and ran into a stadium where people were working out and killed a whole bunch of people, maimed a whole bunch of people, then stabbed himself, and he didn't do such a good job, so now he's just in a coma. This happened in China not 2 days ago. In France, we got people stabbing each other. They don't have a lot of guns, so they stab each other. Or they're running people over with trucks. In England, people are fighting over religion. Muslims, Christians, Protestants, the Church of England. I don't get it. This is 2024, and we're fighting over religion? Is this the new crusade? What in the hell is everybody thinking? Here in America, we're arguing over Palestine, Israel, neo-Nazis, Haiti. What else can we argue about? Stop it. Be better. Worry about America. We've got enough problems and enough situations to solve right here in America. We don't need to go looking in Europe or Southeast Asia or in some Arab country where they've been fighting for almost 6 million years, tribal fighting, or thousands of years. We don't need to find problems anywhere else. We have enough things to solve in our own country. America has to relearn to use the word no. And what I mean by that is not get involved in everybody else's business around the world. Sure, we have agreements with people, mutual aid, whatever you want to call it, treaties. But when it comes down to it, we're the only people that are making payments on this. We're the only people that are absolutely trying to make it work by money and troops. But stuff, do we really need all these soldiers in Germany to put? Do we need to support Ramstein Air Base in Germany and Ramstein Hospital? I mean, it's convenient to the Middle East when people were getting maimed and dying to fly them right up to Germany, very short flight. But we don't need that anymore. You understand? It's an expense we don't need to have. NATO is not an expense we need to have. The European alliance is big enough and tough enough and have plenty of weapons and plenty of soldiers. They don't need us to protect them. Ukraine can stop the war tomorrow. You know how? They dig in, they stand on the lines they're at, and they go into negotiations. I'm sure that Trump is going to say to some at one point, say, look, by the end of the year, the money dries up. I hope you guys can have it settled by then. And he's going to say to Putin, look, by the end of the year, you got to have this settled, at least an armistice. That's where you don't fight anymore. I know that's a word nobody uses anymore. However, he's going to say to him, look, I know you're dealing with all these other countries, you're getting around the sanctions, but we're going to put weight on them to stop dealing with you if you're still fighting after the first year. I think he's going to say something along those lines. He's a businessman. He only knows how to pull the plug on the money. He doesn't know anything directly about fighting wars. He doesn't understand strategy other than business strategy. He is going to cut the money off. He's going to say to Israel, I don't know if he'll give them till the end of the year. He might say do it in 30 days because other than that, you're not getting any more money. That's the only language he understands, like business. The money flows, everything gets done. If things aren't getting done, the money stops. That's a simple business premise. You don't pay for things that aren't productive and giving a return. You understand? And all these wars, not one of them is giving us anything back. The only people that are making money is the war machine, the people who make the bullets and the bombs and the guns and the tanks and the personal carriers and the artillery. Those are the only people that are making money. And those people don't live here. You understand? They may have houses here, may have businesses, but they don't live here. They live in Sweden or some other place you can't touch them. They make money on the death of our youngest people in our society. Take that in just for a minute. We are paying millions of dollars on wars that will never benefit us one iota, will not make us safer in any realm of thinking. Face the facts that unless we take control of this situation, we're just going to have more of the same, more of the old bull. I didn't say the other word. So therefore, I don't have to throw a dollar in the bucket. Getting smaller. Anyway, if we can, as a society, as all Americans, no matter who you are, what color you are, what education level, where you fit into society, if we can all just agree to start over, to say we've gone down the wrong path for 30 years, we've been misinformed at every turn. Take back our country simply by saying no and questioning everything. Simply by saying no and questioning everything. 01012025. On that date, it's just no, we take our country back. If it isn't directly related to America, benefit. And that's the most important word, benefit. We don't do it anymore. We're going to stop paying 91% of the United Nations bill. Why in God's name are we paying for this organization? One, that is totally out of step with reality. Two, who has prime real estate in New York City. Three, everybody that works there has diplomatic immunity, so they walk out, never pay for their apartments, and can't be prosecuted, don't pay their parking tickets, do horrendous crimes, and can't be prosecuted. Why? Because they're the UN. They're that agency that is just going to make the world a better place. They haven't, they won't. It's a hole that we're throwing good money into, and we're the stupid ones. Why are we the stupid ones? Because everybody else is saying, I ain't paying that bill. Let America pay. So, let's just look at the UN and say, guys, it's been a great run. You've been here since after World War II. You're about 75 years, right? Well, guess what? You're all going to go back to your countries and find a job. Because let's be realistic.
All right, we're just going to wait for Tom's internet to catch back up to us. Super interesting. Extreme ownership and personal development. He looks like he's almost back with us. And here we are. Back to you, Tom.
Let's explain what's happening. I live in upstate New York. We are probably, we're conservative Republicans up here. If you look at the map of who voted for who, you'll see a line. Everything in New York State is red, except a little bit of Buffalo, a little bit of Rochester, and all of New York City. Excuse me, I'm sorry, blue. The whole state's red, except for Buffalo, Rochester, and the whole city of New York. The rest of the state is totally red. So while everybody's enjoying fiber optics and or these other things that make internet connections possible, we don't have that. New York City, Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, they suck the power. They drain the water out of the Catskills and the Adirondacks. We are here just to support these cities, the rest of the state. So when my internet goes out, it's simply because either we've lost power or the internet system that we have has failed because I get it through a cable. But, and here is the one thing that we have going for us. I have applied to get Elon's satellite internet. Hopefully I will get it soon, and this problem will stop. But that's down the line, so I have to deal with it. And you understand what I'm telling you? It is purposeful, the way that New York City treats the rest of the state, like we're just here to support them. Literally sent hundreds of thousands of immigrants upstate from the city, and they all went back. Why did they go back? Well, one, they don't have a culture up here that they're used to. Two, it gets cold up here. They're not from an area that gets a lot of cold weather. And I mean, when I say cold, I mean wet cold. Even when it's not snowy up here, it's damn cold. So you better be prepared. Everything from long johns out to your outer coat and your boots, heated seats on your snowmobiles, heated cabins on your side-by-sides, shooting from heating blinds, fishing from heated tents or shacks that you push out onto the ice. You have to be a certain type of person. Now, I know a lot of friends that say, I would never, I'd live up there in the spring and the summer and the fall, but I would never be there in the dead of winter. Thank you. I'm so happy because I don't want you here anyway. You know, I want to be able to snowmobile from my home in the southern tier all the way up to Whiteface Mountain. Maybe it'll take me a dozen days, but there's places to stop, great bars and inns and things. You never have to get off your snowmobile until you want to be, or your four wheel, or whatever you want. This is an amazing area. It's like living in the 1800s. People barter here. People help one another. And we pay for that. We pay for that through the way we live and the way we're treated. I'm off the subject. Let's get back on the subject. But it's all intertwined. It's all the things, the goodness of the internet that's going to bring us. I mean, we're slowly, everybody's converting to Elon's satellite system. So we don't have to deal with Time Warner or Charter, whatever the latest manifestation that owns the cable wires and transfer boxes. Oh yeah, we don't have fiber optics. You would think them all. Everybody's got fiber optics. We don't. We got coax cable. And when the power goes out anywhere, it drains the system. Okay? Let's get back to the topic. And the topic is just doing better. Understanding what you want out of life and being a better person, treating people better, making your space within the new America. And don't get me wrong, it's the new America. Web3, you got Donald Trump for the next 4 years, whether you like it or not. Now, you can stand on the sideline for 4 years and do nothing but complain, or you can get what you want. It's up to you. Now, I see we've been at this for 45 minutes, and you know how particular I am about time. So I'm going to tell you to like and subscribe, share, comment. Really love your comments. Got a pad in front of me, you know, to keep my pad of comments. People want me to do videos on things. I'm more than willing to do the videos on whatever you ask me. You know why? Because it expands my ability to see things. I go down the rabbit hole 2 hours, 3 hours on some of your comments, and what I find not necessarily is what you want me to find. I get a lot of complaints I'm sure after this video, I'm going to get a lot of complaints because I'm telling black people to stop fighting among yourselves and stop seeing the white guy as the boogeyman. There is no reason for us to be beating up on Asians. You understand that? There is no reason to put up with neo-Nazis in this day and age. We know it's bad. We know that these are people in the minority, not only they're the minuscule minority, they're just a cancer among us, and we need to cut it out. Just like in Venezuela, what did they do? They just took the army out and locked up every gang member. I mean, this president is locking up every gang member. Well, somebody said, well, let's have the army get control of these gangs. No, no, no. We don't want the army to do it. They have their other jobs. What we want is a retired military and make a special force, however you do that in these days. And their only task is to round these people up. The people here are illegally, we get rid of. The people who are citizens, we lock them up. And we get rid of this cancer in our society. We can do that with everything that's a detriment to us. You, me, even Josh in his catacomb can change. Instead of, Josh playing video games 9 hours out of 24, that's a joke, by the way. Maybe he could do something productive like cure diabetes or something. That's a joke, by the way. Anyway, so I guess I'm going to wrap this up because Josh has probably got a dozen questions. I want you to know it's your personal response. I wrote this down because I'm closing it out with this statement. Josh and the rest of the internet world. Personal responsibility, not group responsibility, not Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. Personal responsibility. Just like the 1700s when we signed the Declaration of Independence, we came together as individuals and we fought for the same cause. We need to have that same thing happen now. We need to come together, be responsible for our own lives, and then be responsible for the whole America. You're not Black American anymore. You're not an Asian American. You're an American. You were never a slave or a slave owner. Get over it. Get on with your life. You're spending too much time in this fairy tale. Nobody owes you anything. If you're on welfare, get off. Put your life together. No, it's not going to be easy, but do it. You'll feel better. Your children will feel better about themselves. Stop talking about being a minority. You're not a minority anymore. You're 13% of the population or 4% of the population or whatever your minority is. You're that percentage of the population. However, you have the most exposure right now. You're on every TV show, every TV commercial. Old fat white guys like me don't exist on broadcast TV. So while you're in the catbird seat, do something with it. Benefit yourself and your family and your society. Zero 2025. Change yourself. Change the people around you by example. Throw out all the old prejudice and all the old fist shaking and all the old stigmatisms that you have blinding you. Come out into the sunlight. Be a better person. Treat everyone better. Do an act of kindness every day. You'll feel great and you'll help somebody out. And small stuff. Bring in somebody's garbage can. Rake somebody's leaves. Help somebody carry their groceries. Little things. It doesn't cost you anything but a little time, no money, nothing else, just a little time. You're going to change America for the better doing this. And that's all I'm talking about. Making America a more livable and kinder place. We have Donald Trump for the next 4 years, so get over it. Work within whatever system comes out of this. Don't work against it. It's not for the greater good, and it's not going to be good for you. All right, 10 minutes left. Let's clean this all up. We're going to let Josh talk now, and you know how that's going to go. But the other thing I want to remind you was St. Jude and Aortic Hope. Support those people, please. Aortic Hope saved my life, and St. Jude is something that's been near and dear to my heart for almost 54 years. Isn't that wonderful? 54 years I've been making money for those people, simply because a friend of mine had his child there. All right, Josh, what do you want to bang me on?
Oh, I don't want to bang you on anything. I like the idea of personal responsibility. Extreme ownership is a thing that's important for an entrepreneur, right? If you're going to go it alone and you think you're going to get assistance or anything from anybody, then that expectation is going to get squandered pretty quickly. Very often when you're getting assistance or something from somebody, there becomes a hook of reliance. And if you do that, then it may alter what you're trying to accomplish. And so, you know, from an entrepreneurial perspective, the idea of extreme ownership is you're getting whatever I give you, and I'm giving you what I can give you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when clients are like, well, I would like, and it's like, well, you know, you're absolutely in that favor of finding anybody else to solve this problem for you. I have no problem finding work. And that reliance on self is a massive boost to why I'm as productive as I am.
And you hit the nail right on the head, what I'm trying to get people to understand. It is not the 1950s or 60s or 70s or even the 80s and 90s. We're into the 2000s. The only thing that matters right now is the internet. You got to understand.
Oh, no. There you
have
are.
to understand what you can do and what you can't do. And then you have to make sure that whatever you do in life, you enjoy it, because you're going to be good at it if you enjoy it. So take it from somebody who 2 years ago didn't know how to turn on a computer, and 4 months ago never even dreamed of being on the internet. Life changes if you let it. Josh came into my life and he made it possible. And then he made it happen. I don't take credit for it. I'm just this talking head. I'm this guy who's lived for 73 years, and I have a few things to say. And most people don't agree because it's 73-year-old information. However, I'm here to tell you, the way I did it, you can't do it anymore. It's not the same situation. So change. Your basic skills are the same. If you're a kind person, if you're genuine, if you're honest, if you're banging a nail or you're writing code, it doesn't matter. Do the best you can. It's like relationships. If you get into a relationship with good intentions and kind heart, they usually work out pretty well, even in the tough times. But if you're there for manipulation and to gain something from a person, it never works out. If you're trying to be kind and calm in a conversation rather than confrontational and abusive, you get further. Arguments never get you anywhere. I learned that from Josh. He has a totally different perspective. He actually said one time, I can't remember when, but he said, I don't understand war. For a guy my age, it's a very scary thing to hear out of a young man's mouth. You don't understand war. You don't understand protecting. the American way. That's, that's all war is. Somebody saying, no, this is where it ends. This is where it stops. Now we have the deep state and Davos and World Order and the World Health and the UN and all this other crap. They are basically manipulating everyone like puppets. But guess what? The puppets have cut the string. I see it every day. I see more and more people questioning. I'm on the internet. I've lost the use of my legs, so what else am I going to do? Sure as hell not going to run a marathon. And I need help to get out when I hunt or fish or do anything. Hire laborers and have a bunch of grandchildren that are like herding cats. That's how I get by in life. But that's not who you are. You have abilities. And you have the internet just like I do. And it's only going to get better. I've said before, I fear the internet. Well, I think I've gotten over my fear. What I don't understand about the internet, I research and I find out. If I don't like something about the internet, I focus on that and I figure it out. It's a learning experience. At 73, I'm learning. Cell phone 3 years ago, computer 2 years ago. And here I am talking to a screen. Hopefully somebody hears me. I know people are hearing me because of the responses I'm getting, which are absolutely wonderful, and thank you for that. I thank everybody that helped me through this road. I mean, almost 13 years ago, December 23rd will be 13 years. Had my aortic dissections and my world turned upside down. I didn't know it at the time, but I wasn't going to be a chef. I'm a little rock-headed, right? So it took me about 9 years to figure out I wasn't going to be a chef anymore. And I wasn't going to have anything, and I started every business in the world, consulting, private chef, whatever derivative of a chef you can think of, I tried. Never did Food Network, though. I didn't like the Food Network from the beginning. It ruined my industry. But that's another story. So we've got 2 minutes left. I so much enjoy coming here and talking to you, even if I'm talking to myself. Life is good. And you can change and make it better. Once again, Tom Noetner, the conversationalist. Like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell. I love that. Hit the bell. It beckons back to old times when my mother would ring the bell for dinner. It's one of those phrases that old people like me can associate to, and new people can understand. God bless each and every one of you. I love you. Be safe. All God's blessings for you and your families. I'm out.